When you see this image, what do you think of? What is the first thought that goes through your mind when you see this image that's on your screen right now? I'm guessing for most of you, there's a few things that come up, but the first thing is the name. What is the name of this person? I'm sure most of you know this. And then the next question is, why does it matter? Why does it matter what this person said 32 years ago? Why should anybody care? Most of you will probably have a good answer to that as well. I would love it if you would let me know in the comment section below, do you know who this person is? And do you know why what they said at this particular hearing is important all of these years later? I'll come back and give you my answer to that question in just a moment, but first, I need to let you know about some good news, some very good news, some terrific news. I published my Bonversation with Les Luther, which is available to you right now. There should be a link in the info box below, but lately YouTube has been making it so that I can't even link to stuff in the info box. But if they do that again, I'll just put a link to it in the comments. So you'll find a link to this, or you can just type in bonversations.com and you will get access to this Bonversation. About 1 hour is the public hour, the first hour, which is where all of the important stuff about certain deceptions is covered. And boy, oh boy, the comments so far have been terrific. In fact, I'm going to read to you some of those comments. But first, I want to play you a clip. You've probably seen this one before. Let's take a look at this.
There was constant discussion about him hiding out in caves, and I think many times the American people have a perception that it's a little hole dug out of a side of a mountain.
Oh, no.
This is from back in the days of OBL. And yeah, some of you were alive at that time. I was born in 87. So I was still a very young man, still basically a child, when all of these wars on terror began, the war on terror began. And I remember this very well. I actually fell for this. I fell for the idea. And remember, I was still a kid back then. Well, it was 2003 was when they launched. So it was that, I was 15 or 16. And at that time, I knew nothing about media fakery and deception, and I still trusted the government and the news. And I couldn't believe, it wouldn't have even occurred to me that people could lie about something like that and get away with it. But I didn't see this particular clip at the time. Only later on did I find this. I'm sure if you followed my work for long enough, you would have seen this before. I play this quite a lot in my live streams. This is back when people still believed this nonsense. Take a look at this.
This is it. This is a fortress.
Yes.
A complex, multi-tiered, bedrooms and offices on the top, as you can see. Secret exits on the side and on the bottom.
These are the caves that OBL and his motley crew of whatever the hell they called themselves supposedly existed somewhere in a desert that none of us are ever going to go to. And they had this assortment of these caves. And they were very advanced.
Cut deep to avoid thermal detection, a ventilation system to allow people to breathe and to carry on. The entrance is large enough to drive trucks and even tanks, even computer systems and telephone systems.
And of course some hydroelectric power. No terrorist cave is complete without its own hydroelectric power system.
It's a very sophisticated operation.
Oh, you bet. And there's not one of those. There are many of those.
Oh, you bet. This is serious business. And there's not one of those. There are many of those.
Yep, there are many of those. Was the story that people were being told. And of course it was later made obvious and clear that this was all overt, shameless, comical propaganda. Now, did anybody get in trouble for that? Is there a single person who got in any trouble for going on the TV and telling these kinds of stories? Was there anybody in the government who went to prison? Was there anybody in the media who went to... Was there a single person? Maybe there was. I'm not aware of that being the case. If you do know anything to the contrary, let me know in the comment section below. Did anybody get into a shred
cut deep
of trouble for this? I don't think they did. I don't think they did. Ah, boy. So I'm going to show you this testimony. Of course, her name was Naira, the Q80, the supposedly Q80 girl. We'll play that clip in just a moment. But first, here's some comments. We've already got comments coming through about the latest Bonversation, and I thought they were worth sharing with some of you guys who maybe haven't listened to the Bonversation. Yeah, let me zoom in there. So Ravi says, truly wonderful discussion, JLB. He's talking, of course, about my Bonversation with Les Luthor. He says, truly wonderful discussion, JLB, especially the personal stuff. We all have thoughts and doubts about the purpose of life, and it's nice to hear others articulate these things. I think one essential aspect of life is just trying to figure out the meaning and the point of it all. We have created all of reality, including the normies, the fake act realm, the alternative conspiracy truth realm, and the real act realm here, with some part of our being. That part of our being is omniscient, and the other part is our ego, mind, personality, and is typing or reading this right now. These parts of ourselves are connected, but the nature of the connection is beyond the ego's comprehension. Our real challenge is, now that we have created this reality with a real and a fake act realm, how do we use this act realm knowledge to actually live a tangibly better life? What's the point of being human? Say in hippie voice, like, whoa man, maybe there is no point. It's like the journey is all there is, bro. Peace, Ravi. Now you might be thinking, what's he talking about? I thought you said, JLB, that you chatted with Les Luthor about the deceptions on our telescreens to do with these events that are going on around the world, which of course Les went and documented himself. So what might this comment be about? Well, in the second hour of the Bonversation, which is more like another 2 hours actually, we went right off script on a complete different tangent and started talking about some more abstract, you might even say philosophical ideas to do with what the hell are we doing with our lives? Now, some of you have good answers to that. You know exactly what you're doing with your life. But there are some people, they think, man, what am I doing? What's the point of all of this? All of this stuff that I think I've learnt over the past 1 year, 2 year, 5 years. Some people have been in this corner of the internet for a decade. Okay, accumulating all of this knowledge, but really, what's the point of all of this? Does it actually help? Let me know in the comment section below. Do you think all of this stuff helps? I'm not so sure. And then we're going to go and play this testimony in just a minute. But first, one more comment. And of course, I only published this Bonversation like less than 24 hours ago. So it's terrific that we've already got, I've actually got about 5 or 6 comments that have come through so far. But I'll just read one more of these comments and then we'll get on with the testimony. Take No Gnosis says, this is my favourite Bonversation to date. The meander off into simulation and NPC conversation was most unexpected, but most enjoyable. Lex Luthor is a very likeable and interesting character. A deeper delve at another time would be something to look forward to in the new year. Great work, JLB. Thank you. Thank you, TNG, for the comment. And thanks to everybody who's left those comments within the first 24 hours of publishing this. Sometimes I can publish a piece of content and it gets 5 comments total. That's it. That's all it gets after a week, 2 weeks. That's all it gets. This one has 5 or 6 comments within 24 hours of being published. Some of these very detailed and meaningful comments, which I truly do appreciate. So thanks to everybody who has taken the time to leave those comments. Once again, guys, Bonversations.com. It's not just the Les Luthor Bonversation that's available. There's the one with the Boogeyman. There's the one with Ethan Nash from TOTT News, the guy who I first started podcasting with almost a decade ago. It's crazy. Janice Barcelo, a lady whose work changed the course of the rest of my life, which sounds like a dramatic thing to say, but it is no exaggeration. I also chatted with Lynn Ertel, who's a regular over at Fakeologist and the Infinite Plane Society back in May of this year. Learn of the Jesuit Order, who most of you guys probably aren't familiar with, but back in the day, he was at the very top of the YouTube so-called truth movement. Not that he ever fell for the idea of a movement, the way that a lot of people did. He was always his own kind of character, and he saw through all of it a lot quicker than most of us. And then, of course, Maria Freefloat, the lovely lady from Greece, just south of where I am here in beautiful Plovdiv, Bulgaria. And she was the one who contacted me because she heard about my history hoax ideas, and she wanted to discuss these ideas with me, not antagonistically or as some kind of debate, but she was like, well, I can see some of your points, but how about this other evidence, JLB? And I was like, you know what? Let's talk about it. So we did. And there's about 35 of these Bonversations, all available publicly, guys. All of these are available right now. Click on any one of these, and it will take you to a page where you can stream or download. There's a Tim Osmond. There's actually 2 Tim Osmond Bonversations. So go and check out Bonversations.com. Yeah, boy. But let's get to this testimony. I've fast-forwarded for you. This is a dish that I prepared earlier. So she's explained to this hearing that she was working as a volunteer nurse or an intern or something, and then she saw some horrible things happen. Let's listen to this, and just remember, folks, so far as I'm aware, and I could be wrong, I've been wrong about many things, but so far as I'm aware, nobody got into any trouble for this at all. Take a listen to this.
While I was there, I saw the Iraqi soldiers come into the hospital with guns.
So while she was at this hospital, she saw the Iraqi soldiers. So she was working at some hospital in Kuwait. And while she was there, she saw the Iraqi soldiers come into the hospital with guns. Oh boy, this is gonna... What happened next?
They took the babies out of the incubators.
So a whole bunch of military men walked in there with guns. They found the babies in incubators. Oh, I don't like where this story is going, folks. She's clearly very upset. I mean, look how upset she is. And she's talking about guys with guns taking babies out of incubators. Guys, if you're squeamish, look away now. Click off now, because this, I can tell where this is going to some bad place.
Took the incubators and left the children to die on the cold floor.
They took the babies out of the incubators. They stole the incubators. And they just put the babies on the floor and left them to die on the cold floor, right in front of her.
It was horrifying.
They did this all right in front of my...
Right in front of me! Right in front of me!
Yeah, and so no one got in trouble for that. So why would any intelligent, sane person believe a single thing that they are told by anybody on the TV from the government or from the mainstream media? Why would any sane person... Oh, by the way, in case I didn't... For those of you who might not know this was all revealed to be a hoax, folks. Okay, I probably should have explained that. Maybe some of you guys are new here. This was exposed as a complete hoax. Okay, complete hoax. You can look into it for yourself. You don't even need any conspiracy websites, or you don't need to go to my website. Just type in Naira testimony and find out what is the official story. They admit this was a complete hoax from start to finish. Can you believe that? And no one got in any trouble for this. So with that being the case, and with people like old mate Donnie Rumsfeld, yeah?
To avoid thermal detection, a ventilation
system and a hydroelectric power system. Okay? This is the kind of stuff... I'm trying to keep myself composed here. This is the kind of stuff that they, whoever they are, can put on the TV. Okay, they can get government officials, or they can get their pretty mainstream media talking heads to say this kind of stuff. And when it's revealed to be a hoax, nothing happens. Nothing bad happens to these people. Do you understand? There's no overarching body that monitors this stuff and holds people accountable. It doesn't work that way, you see. Which is why, when we're being told stories about what is happening in different parts of the world, and you get these stories about these horrible things that are happening and blah, 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 it's so important that somebody who's independent from the mainstream media and from the government, we need somebody, and it's probably not going to be me, and it's probably not going to be you, but we need at least one person to go there with an iPhone or with a camera of some type and to record it and to tell us if they can see what we're being told on the TV is happening. And I know of only one person who does that, and that is, of course, Les Luthor. So I recommend you go and check out my Bonversation with him. It was recorded and published yesterday. So this is fresh, hot off the press. And like I showed you, the comments so far have been terrific. So I think you're going to enjoy that. Check the info box below or the comments below for the link. If the link isn't there because YouTube won't let me do that for some reason, if that's the case, just go to bonversations.com, check out this Bonversation and the other 34 that are waiting for you right now. I recommend you go and check them out. And let me know in the comment section below, guys. When I first showed you this image, did you know immediately who this lady is? And let me ask you another question. Why weren't we taught about this at school? We went to school for 10 years, 12 years, 13 years, depends where you live. Some of us even go on to further studies at university or community college or whatever. That's a lot of time spent learning stuff. How come people can graduate high school, even primary school, and not know about this? Do you really think school is here to make you smarter? Do you still believe that? Who do you think runs the schools? Who do you think is in charge of the curriculums at schools? Who do you think funds these schools? Just think through this. It seems to me that one of the most difficult parts of getting involved in this alternative research is letting go of this idea that we're so smart. School builds us up with this ego. I'm so smart. I went to school. I got my grade 12. I got my certificate. I went to university. I'm such a smart... It's like, no. If you don't even know... If somebody doesn't know who this person is, then they are functionally illiterate when it comes to understanding the deceptions that are taking place all around us every day. And so for those of you who did straight away know who this person is, kudos to you. I'm going to suggest to you that is just the beginning. Many people think they've worked out the deceptions. I'm here to tell you, I'm not so sure that you have. And so with that being the case, I'm also going to link, if I can, to this video. Take a look at this. Are missiles a hoax? You're probably thinking to yourself, I see what JLP's doing. He's shown us stuff that we know to be hoaxes, or you should know by now to be hoaxes. But now he's going to throw in something. He's going to try and trick us. Now he's going to take it too far and say that missiles are... I see what you're doing, JLB. I see what you're doing. No, I don't think you see what I'm doing. Because if you still believe that wingless missiles can fly the way that you've been shown on TV, then maybe you are still at the baby level of this process. And the good news for you is you've got time. There's not going to be a nuclear war tomorrow, or next year, or 10 years from now, or even 20 years from now. You've got some time. And if you really want to undo the conditioning and the programming, you've got time. And maybe a good way to get started is to go and check out that Bonversation, like I said, and all the other Bonversations that are waiting for you. So that's enough from me. Thanks again to the people who have left comments at johnthebond.com following the publication of this Bonversation with Les Luthor. And thanks to Les Luthor as well for all the work that he's done. He's the one guy that I know of who went to these places and said, guys, I'm here, and the thing that they're saying is happening on our TVs back home, that's completely different to what I can see right now. Look, I'll show you. I'm going to record it. Look, guys. I think they might be lying again. And a lot of people can't handle that because they haven't even reached the baby level. Goodness gracious me. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Yeah, boy, Shimon. Hello there, John. This is Donald J. Trump. Just wanted to let you know that your content here at johnlebon.com is absolutely tremendous. Really, I gotta say, my wife Melania and I, we've been consuming hours and hours of it. We just love it. We can't get enough of it, frankly.
Hello there, John. This is Donald J. Trump. I just wanted to let you know your content here on johnlebon.com is just absolutely tremendous. Really, I gotta say, my wife Melania and I have been consuming hours and hours of it. We just love it. We can't get enough of it, frankly.